Guys, welcome to Stealth Attraction. I'm very excited to be teaching you this stuff today because this for me is some of the most advanced and interesting things that I've ever seen in pickup. I came up with this stuff myself over a few years. Originally my technique in approaching and seducing women was something that you'd expect. It was an indirect approach. It was opinion openers. I started in the same way that most people did. And that was fine because I was going to an average bar and I'd go in the place, and to stand out versus the other guys, I just had to be slightly cooler, my conversation slightly more interesting, and you know, the woman probably hadn't met a guy like me before, so I could start to get results. And so I was quite happy with my game. But then I started going to nicer clubs, and I go into a nicer club and suddenly everyone's not on an equal playing field. They're not all just standing at the bar drinking beer. You've got a guy in there that's maybe spending thousands of dollars on champagne for the night. You've got another guy that's a club promoter that's come into the club with 20 hot women, and then he's standing there with these 20 hot women around him. You've got the manager of the place, the owner of the place. The guys are better dressed, they're richer, they're more comfortable around beautiful women. So in this environment, I had to change what I did a little bit more because the same as approach as I had before would only work on a small percentage of the girls. It wouldn't work on every girl in there. So I came up with some new things that allowed me to compete in that environment. And I was doing fine for a while. But then I started to go to places that were even higher level. And in those places, things happen like I might go in and be with a couple of girls, and all of a sudden they'd run off. And I'm like, where have they gone? Oh, they're with that celebrity. One night I remember I was with two girls, I'd kissed them both, and I just thought it was totally on. You know, I was going to get them back to my house, it was going to be fantastic. And then they go off and they're trying to impress this guy. I look over and they're kind of dancing sexily in front of this guy, you know, doing fake lesbian stuff in front of this guy. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I look, and the guy's Callum Best, who's enough of a celebrity in England to get female attention, to get women working for him. So I was in this place, and not only did I have the guys spending loads of money, not only did I have the guys that come in with 20 girls, not only do I have the guys that own the place and manage the place, but I've also got these celebrity guys that the women want to sleep with. So I was in there and I just had my girls stolen, and I was like, I have to figure this out. I was introduced to Callum Best through a mutual friend, and we started going out together. And so I got to see what he was doing to attract women, and I got to see his kind of celebrity effect. You know, as he walked around the place, people recognized him, and the snowball effect. So he has two women working for him, the rest of the women in the room see that, and they start doing stuff as well. And I came up with strategies to counteract that, and they involved not spending tons of money, not wearing ridiculous clothes, not learning a bunch of, you know, new routines or magic tricks or anything like that. It's a lot of subtle things. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down for you into 5 steps. We're going to start with stealth value. This is how to raise your value in the venue and get that effect, get people looking at you, getting people wanting to talk to you, getting people interested in you. It goes into stealth opening, which are really subtle ways to open so that you have a really super high chance that every interaction will open nicely and smoothly. And even if they don't, no one's going to know. Next is stealth seduction, how to slowly increase the sexual tension smoothly and get to the position where you can start kissing the girl and sexually escalating. The 4th thing is the stealth arousal. And this is where you use really supercharged sexual techniques, keno and other ways of touching and turning the girl on to give her an experience that she's never had before. So those guys, no matter who they are, they're not giving her the experience that you can give her when you use these techniques. The final step is stealth extraction. Stealth extraction allows you to subtly and smoothly instigate the process from getting the girl out of the club back to your house. Since I've started doing this stuff, obviously I've had a lot of fun, but also some interesting notes. I walk around the club with total confidence. I don't feel like I can be rejected. I'm walking around and I just feel like I know what I'm doing. I feel like I've got a secret communication with the women that I interact with that the guys can't do and aren't aware of, that the other women in the club won't be aware of. Only the girl I'm interacting with will know what I'm doing and will feel it. So I've got this secret communication. I've got this edge over these other guys because I'm using things that they won't think to use. Whether they're a PUA or a natural or an AFC, they're not doing this stuff. When I approach a girl, I'm approaching her with total confidence. Anytime I'm walking towards a girl, anytime I verbally open her, there is no doubt in my mind that it's going to go well. And that's because of the way I've set it up. So from the woman's point of view, she's experiencing a guy that is totally confident walking around the room, totally confident approaching her, totally confident opening her, verbally moving things forward, and sexually escalating. So she meets a guy that doesn't have any holes in his confidence all the way along the line, which of course is a huge attraction builder. I've never, in the past year and a half, been talking to a girl and her friends have dragged her away. It's not happened. I've not been talking to a girl and a big guy's come in and said, "What are you doing? That's my girlfriend." That's not happened either. I've never gone to kiss a girl and she's, "Whoa, what are you doing?" I've never said, tried to get a girl back to my house and she said, "I'm not going back to your house, go away." I've not had that happen in the past 2 years. All of these things that happen to most guys, have happened to most guys, and used to happen to me, don't happen anymore because of this technique. So it all starts with stealth value. And the thing to bear in mind here is that you can do a lot before you open. It's your first impression, and it really paves the way for your approach and for your initial interaction. When you're in a high-class venue, you're even more under the microscope, and your value is even more important. I've taught basic things in the past, not to show nervousness in your body language, but what I want to do here is go beyond that and talk about specific ways that you can take control of your value and raise it as high as possible. The reason we do this is that we don't want to play a numbers game. If I go into a high-end nightclub and I dress pretty well and I seem pretty comfortable, maybe I know a couple of people, and I stand at the bar and have a drink, maybe I'm with a friend, and then I go and approach girls. If my game is good, I might be able to get 50, 60, even maybe 70% of those girls to respond positively and get into a position where I could take things further with those girls. But what about the level above that? What about the toughest to game 30%, the hottest girl in the club, the most difficult ones? How do you get those? As a guy that's pretty fussy, those are the girls that I want. And the funny thing is, I might be in a place where the girls aren't that attractive and there's one that's pretty good, and I'll really want that girl because she's the hottest in that place. Put her in a club where she's not the hottest, and I don't want her anymore. I want the hottest ones. So I've always got my eyes on those girls, and I wasn't happy when I wasn't getting them. So a lot of this value stuff is about getting into a position where these girls will respond as well to you as the girls that you can just approach and be super friendly to you straight away. When I'm in a club, I'm aware of my value at all times. Here's some things that I'm doing. I will never stand in the same place too long, and this is for a few reasons. You're at the bar, you're going to get your drink, and then you're going to move. You're on the dance floor, you're dancing to music you like. That music changes, you don't want to dance anymore, you've been dancing there too long, time to move. You go outside, maybe your friends are smoking, or you go and get fresh air, go there for a bit, walk around the club. I'm always moving, and that's because the lowest value position to be in a club is when you're just standing there and nothing's going on and people catch you doing that. If you're generally interacting with people, that's great. So I want to be interacting with both guys and girls. But I want to be aware of something here. A lot of guys make the mistake of putting a lot of energy into their interactions with people. And I like to do the opposite. I like to give as little as possible and have the other person give more. So I want to create a lot of situations where I'm talking to women and they're smiling more than I am, they're more animated than I am, they're doing more of the talking, and I want to create that situation with guys as well. The reason is there's a nice equation, which is that the interest you receive minus the effort you're giving to get that interest equals the attraction that you're generating. That means that if I'm in a room and I'm really working, I'm like, oh, hey mate, how you doing? Oh, great to see you. Oh, I really like your jump. And someone sees me working really hard, that person's higher value than me because I'm working hard for them. They must be worth something. If I'm putting all that energy and effort into it, the fact that I'm getting a good response is not worth so much. So anyone observing that interaction won't think, wow, he knows all those people and they all like him. They'll think, oh, well, he's trying hard. So as much as possible, when other people look at my interactions, they want to see me quite plain and they want to see the other person animated. They want to see me chilling and leaning against the wall, the other person walking past me and interacting with me. If I see a friend walking through, I'll wave to him, he'll come to me, he'll interact with me like that. One of my favourite things to do, and this is usually possible every time I go out, is to create a situation where I'm surrounded by women. Some examples of how you do this. Very simply done if you go on the dance floor. If you go on the dance floor and you just start dancing and having fun, regardless of if you're a good dancer or not, and you purposefully do not look at any women, do not check any out at all, and you're just dancing, maybe you're with your friends, maybe you're just looking at where the DJ is or looking over into the distance, what will naturally happen after a while is women crowd around you. The reason is, on the dance floor, the only other guys are really obviously checking out the women, they're trying to get close to them, or they're just standing there with their drink on the edge of the dance floor. And if you put yourselves into the mind of a woman, if she looks at that dance floor and wants to decide where to dance, she's not going to stand next to the guy that's just standing there. She's not going to dance next to the guy that's checking out all the other women and trying to get close to them. So you naturally get a circle around you. Same thing will happen if you're interacting with your friend at the bar. So as much as possible, I like to create situations where there's lots of women around me. But to take it up a notch, you can do this. If you find a woman that is looking at you and giving you a potential indicator of interest, or if there's just a group of girls there that are not that high value. So if you imagine you went out and there was a couple of supermodels over there, and there were some average looking girls there, they wouldn't feel that confident that night. That means they're going to respond better to your approaches and they're going to give you more non-verbally. If I see girls like that, I could do a few things. If they're just looking at me and they're giving me IOIs, I might give them just a little hint back that I'm interested. So I'll look back, I'll smile, something like that, maybe a little wave. Or I could look at a girl and I could go, be quite sexual, blow her a little kiss. When you do that, two things are going to happen. The girls are all going to pay way more attention to you and they're going to talk about you. To allow this to happen, I'm going to turn my back on them. So the girls are there, I'm going to turn my back on them, carry on dancing, talking to my friend, whatever I'm doing. That gives them license to point at me, to obviously look at me, to talk about me, to tell their friends about me. So I've taken this girl and instead of thinking, oh, she's not that attractive, I don't want to approach her, I'm going to go, or just a subtle thing like that. And I'm going to give her the come on. So they're going to start checking me out harder. They're at least going to talk about me, at least going to look at me. And the maximum potential is that they get close to me and they start trying to get my interest. So I might have my back to them. They might come and start dancing there. Most guys in the room will not know what's going on. However, most women that look at that situation can just say, oh, those girls like that guy. And to them, how much effort have I put in to do that? I haven't done magic tricks, I'm not peacocking, I'm not doing anything. I'm just chilling, I'm just dancing, and these girls are crowding around, they're talking about me, they're trying to dance and get close. This hot girl is now paying attention to you, and you haven't done anything. I might go upstairs, and instead of going in the smoking area, outside just to the side of the club, I'm going to actually leave the whole club. And I'm going to say I need to go and get some money from the ATM, or I need to, buy some cigarettes in the shop, whatever it is, make a phone call. I'm going to get actually out of the club, completely out of the club. As I go, I'm going to shake the bouncer's hand, I'm going to say I'll be back in a second, make sure he remembers me, maybe he stamps me, maybe he just remembers my face. And I'm going to go across the road, I'm going to buy a chocolate bar. And I'm going to wait a few minutes, and I'm going to come back and the club will be packed. Outside there'll be huge queues for tables, queues for guest lists, people trying to get in, loads of people in the smoking area. I've been gone for 10 minutes. I'm going to come back with my chocolate bar. I'm like, you're right, mate. And I'm going to breeze straight in with my chocolate bar. Any girls in the queue, I'll just, I'll make sure they notice me. I'll force IOIs, people in the smoking area. I look like the ultimate VIP because there's a huge queue. I've walked in. Not only that, I've got a chocolate bar that I'm eating. So I'm not even serious about it. How cool. I'm not coming to the club trying to, can I come in, please? I'm just, hey, you all right, mate? How you doing? Let's breeze in with my chocolate bar. I often go to the smoking area in a club because it's quiet, you can have a conversation, and the girls don't have too many distractions there. So